Yes, family, blessed love to each and every one. Give thanks for your presence with us. I think you already see what time it is. Of course, we give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. You're definitely in the tiger's nest. The Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. We have a very special visitor with us this evening. We have a brother Joseph, and he is joining us from Austria, but actually he's a member of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And we will be speaking about aspects of Garveyism this evening and the whole aspect, re-examining Rastafari. So in a few moments, I will be bringing in the good brother. And this episode is sponsored by the Shock of the Hour radio program. Of course, you would know this is a program that comes to you every evening, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday specifically, every weekday as such. This is a radio program hosted by myself where we carry it to another level. And this program is sent to you each and every evening after the broadcast. It's sent to you via the email in your inbox. Definitely, you could be a subscriber to this program, whether it's a monthly subscriber, a 6-month subscriber, or a yearly subscriber. Definitely, all you have to do is contact us, Priest Isaac 27 at gmail.com. And at the same time, even good brother Joseph, he was with us about a week or so ago, and he also came up to a Greencastle Hill with us. So before we leave here this evening, I'll be saying a thing or two as it relates to the upcoming summer solstice, which is the virtual edition. This is for June, from the 17th to the 20th of June, double hike, the cannabis tour. Make sure you register today. At the same time, again, you could email priestisaac27 at gmail.com, or you could call our WhatsApp, specifically Rastafari Experience Antigua, and all the information is right there. But we will get to that more as we delve into the program. So let me say blessed love to Joseph, my Lord. Blessed love, give thanks for your presence with us. And as I said to the family, I know you are a member of the UNIA. At the moment, you are speaking to us from Austria. You were with us a few days ago right here in Antigua, and you spent a few moments with us. Give thanks for that time frame that you spent with us. And today you wanted to touch upon a specific subject area, dealing with Mr. Garvey, dealing with his movement, his concepts, his philosophy, Garveyism, and of course, re-examining Rastafari. So let me just bid you a welcome, my brother, into the tiger's nest. If you could just bless the audience and maybe give them a little rundown of exactly who you are. Blessed love.
Blessed Priest Isaac, I'm glad to be here. I give thanks to the family. Give thanks to the Most High, Halii, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Um, yeah, and I had a good time down there, just chilling with you and the family and blessed, and yeah, I've been just re-examining like a roster personally from a Garveyite aspect, so that's what I'm gonna be talking about today.
Right, no problem. But before you go, I know, as I said, a member of the UNIA. Give us a little idea of your membership, how you maybe
Oh,
even got
absolutely.
into the a little rundown on yourself in general.
So unfortunately, as a young man, I joined the military and I wasn't aware of things I'm aware of now. And while being in the military, I became aware of, more of African history, Afro-American history. And I actually read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and that started me off down my path. And I linked up with the UNIA with the division president named Lion Blyden, who was also on the Dreadhead and Baldhead podcast, talking about Marcus Garvey and the importance of him. So we linked up and we went through the process, filled out paperwork, I swore in,
I
said the
never knew
oath.
TB.
Yes, I. And yeah, it's just, been a journey just reading and just having that mentorship from him and other elders in there, because I was always at a distance or always paid my dues from a distance. I tried to make other divisions, not successful out that here in Germany because, most Black people just love whites more than they love themselves. So it's been a bit of struggle doing that, but, I'm still growing, you know. And that actually led me to Rastafari liberty, you know, reading Mr. Garvey's teachings about having, you know, a God who looks like us and looking to Ethiopia, you know, so on and so forth, because I was unsatisfied with Christianity, you know, very unsatisfied with that. And at first, and after leaving that, I was atheist for a while, you know, I was just so disenfranchised with it. But, you know, I came back around to this liberty, you know, to the Bingy house in particular, you know.
Well, give thanks, my Lord. This is not necessarily chalice talk, but we're going to be open. Don't mind us sipping some sea moss here.
Oh, please.
Well, give thanks, you know, my Lord. I appreciate love that. And before you get into what I know you yourself have something to express, but before you get into the fullness, unless this may be a part of your presentation, so how long ago, if I may ask, you came to that decision that okay, Rastafari, that's what I'm trying.
Ooh, that's a bit of a journey itself, because when I left Christianity, I would say I started getting curious about it.
No, just going through the steps. Christianity, atheism. I was saying a few things there.
Yeah. So I would say back in 2016, I became curious about it because I was looking at Islam at first because Malcolm X had a huge influence on, he had a huge influence on I, you know, just how he carried himself and him being a Pan-Africanist himself, and just, you know, I always viewed him as like one of my spiritual fathers, you know. But I looked at Islam and where it came from and how we got a hold of that too. And that was through the Arab slave trade. So I couldn't go back and pick up another oppressor's belief system, you know. So I started, you know, reading more about the Rasta, you know, just the basic stuff you hear about the reggae and the locks, but I wanted to find out what there's more to it than just that, you know. So after I joined the UNIA, I read a book called The Promise Key, which the division president told me about, Mr. Howell, you know. That sparked my interest. And then I read the Holy Pibby, and then I read the Royal Parchment Scroll of Black Supremacy. And it was similar to Christianity, but it was more of Pan-African centered, you know, because they also believe in the Bible, but they used it in a Black Power context. That really drew me more to it, you know.
Positive. All right, my good brother. Well, no problem. Before you go into the discourse again too, I must say that I know when you came around, you spent a good time with the elder Ras Iser.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if everyone on my channel knows Ras Iser, but we have done, I think, 2 or 3 interviews with him, plus a lecture he also gave. So about 4 videos I have on the channel with Ras Iser. But I know for sure you're in very capable hands there when it comes to understanding maybe a few things that you were seeking a better understanding as it relates to Rastafari and knowing Ras Iser, life in general. You know, I know he's very versed when it comes to that. But before we go into the realms, as I said, you came to me, you know, asking a specific question. And believe me, a lot of the people that are watching this now within the audience, and for the audience, this is Joseph, this is Joseph X that I was telling you about, because you were asking me about the crucifixion of Prince Emmanuel. So as you said you didn't get to see the video as yet, and you already promised that when we are completed the interview, you will go on the YouTube and watch it. So I'm just saying that. So even as we go through, because that was a very serious concern you had when you met me, but because of the time and space and so many different things. And after you listen to that, I'm sure you would say, okay, I think I understand why the priest said, man, this is not as simple as it sounds. But anyway, my brother, I'm going to light my chalice here. I'm going to give you a few moments, or take as long as you want, to at least express yourself. I know you're the one that has the expression. You're going to set the ball rolling. And then, you know, if it's a discourse or a conversation, it's just up to you. I know you don't have no slides to share. Just express yourself, whatever it is on your heart. And however long it takes, 5 minutes, 15 or 20, it's just you. Please feel free. And then we can discuss it if that is what you wish. So, as I said, I'm going to light my chalice. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari.
Well, first I want to say I'm here to just, you know, reason and grow. I'm not here to like argue or debate or nothing like that. We see the reason,
that.
so on and so forth. But I came here because I came into the Bingy house and I'm learning more about this path and trodden. And I saw your video you did with Ross Bone G's and the priest. I forgot what his name was, but he was talking about King Emmanuel not being the Christ and, being, false, as you would say, which a Bobo would feel is, of course, disrespectful. And they were kind of getting the heated debate about that. And, like I learned in the UNIA, we don't fight along those lines. And I see both houses being very powerful houses, that can actually do good for Black people worldwide. So to see y'all but being divisive because of, the red being on top or on bottom, or, is King Selassie Christ or Prince Emmanuel Christ, and y'all not coming together based off that. I thought that was very harmful and self-destructive from a Garveyite standpoint, because y'all could be very powerful together, regardless if, one's wearing a turban or not, or, like whose mansion who belongs to. That's not important to I personally. So coming into this, like I go to Bobo Hill, like when I get a chance, and I'll just like be there and chill with them and vibe with them, no problem. I can go to Bingy house and vibe with them, no problem. I can go to Black Muslim, Black Christian, because it's just being around Black people, is cool with me. I don't really care so much what they believe in. Mr. Garvey himself was a Christian, and I read enough of him to know that he did say that he believes in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, but when it came to us, he was a warrior and changed the world for us. So I think we should, as a Rastafari, go back and pick up that race first aspect, because personally, I'm not racist, but I see Rasta as a Black thing, period. So like, and the ones might not agree with that, but that's how I see it. And we got to go back and pick that up and put the Black nation first, because when y'all had the African Day celebration, was it May 20? I think it was May 25th. Y'all had the celebration up there at Ross Freeman.
Oh, yes.
And I know y'all was saying the Rastafari nation needs to be built up. Well, so things have changed so much now that a Rastafari nation means white Rastas now, right? It means Asian Rastas now. And being a Black American, I can tell you, and being in the military, that these people aren't on our side at all. Like they come amongst us to, I guess, get some culture and lead, but they don't actually go and change our reality from their side, as Amuta Baruka said, they don't go back to Europe or Asia and help the Black folks there who are facing racism and discrimination and all that, So I think that this should go back to being our safe place, amongst I and I as Black people, so. And we'll let them into our movements. But you see a Bobo with a head wrap on, he can't come in. Or you see a Bingy who's not with his wrap on, he can't come. But a white person can come, an Asian, a Jew, an Arab, and they can join. You see what I'm saying? And that was upsetting me seeing that, just from my point of view as someone coming in with a Garveyite background, and I was kind of concerned about that coming in, going forward.
Oh, I think that's quick there, huh? All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing you're saying that I'm far from in agreement. As you said, Marcus Messiah Garvey was the principal there. I was just elevating in my meds there. You had me going on a nice ride there, man. You catch me. But yeah, of course, I see exactly what you're saying, and but that conversation before you say, well, I noticed now what I notice here, and it's not really a dig to you, I noticed that you're saying now, because I'm checking the conversation, you're saying, well, you're all, and etc., etc. Now, when you began, you clearly expressed that you are Rastafari. In fact, you went as far as to identify yourself with the Nyabingi house.
Yes,
now, so now it has left the realms of you all. It has now come to us. Okay,
yes,
right.
Us, yeah.
Right. Whatever your concern may be, but it's
yes,
now become us, right? No, that's fair enough. But what I'm saying, and as I said, there's no discrepancy at all here with me as that video you saw with Ras Bonages, and it was Priest Paul, Priest Barasso Bobo, if that's the right term. I hope I have it right. And, was that on my channel, because it's there separately as a raw footage.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know
I
if you
saw them both.
oh, you saw it on, okay, right. Well then,
Yeah.
for sure, and I mean, I know it's not like it's me and you as such, it's a conversation, but for sure, if you would have listened to the whole video that I would have done, you would have seen that, number one, I would have shared a lot of what you're saying there, the same sentiments for sure. Because you may just say you have come in, you may say you came into this in 2016, and I may say, well, I came into this in 1996, 97.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, well, you saying wow, because to you now, that seemed like a long time, but to someone else, to the same Ras Bonages and the same Priest Paul that we're talking there, I'm a little baby to them. So the same concerns that maybe you would have had, or you have now, that you're putting to me, is like the same concern I, as maybe the equal in your case to them as you are to me as far as eldership. In the same way, I look at it and say, well, because I came in and see it, the landmass that you came here to the other day, which is Antigua. I don't know how much you and Ras Ison speak, but the history here is rich. And even Elder Ison, Ras Sela, King Sagaifu, all these people I know you sit down with, they could tell you that as you can obviously see, Antigua is Naya Bingi strong.
Yes, sir.
And when I held on to this Bobo Shanti artist, all of those brethren that you talk to, them is my brothers. Them is my fathers. You know what I mean? I grew up as Rasta amongst them. But I grew up as Rasta, as Bobo Shanti. So I was like a person in the island that it wasn't as if I had too much to feed from, except my own inner spirit. And I had my wrestle and my little tug of war with them same people there. You know what I mean? Over the same thing and the flag stuff and the whole nine. Some of us have matured. I'm telling you, some of us have matured. So we have to look at that too. Because an elder like King Sagai, if we'll call his name, I mean, I don't think there's anybody around here or anybody that I think I've ever met that was so cross against Prince Emmanuel and just even the concept of Prince Emmanuel at all. There was a time that the man told me he will chop off my head. I never forget that. I said, wow, it's so serious, you know what I mean? But that's a long, long time ago. As I said, that's my father. That's King Sagai, who is my elder, man. If I see King Sagai, we hug and embrace. He come and do an interview right here with me and cry and all kind of things right on the same time. I'm sure you've seen, okay, right, fair enough. But that's almost 20 years ago, he trying that thing on me there, But I would say that he has matured, not just from that, from other things, we all mature. I have matured from 20 years. I'm sure you have matured. So maturity is a very important thing. Now, there are those of us who are very dogmatic and ignorant and haste not to mature. For example, I'm just going to show you a thing. Now, the same King Sagaifu, I saw him just about 4 months ago. And, he was well arrayed with a lot of badges. I don't know if you met him on that standard there. No, but he would have all his badges and like everybody you can call, from Malcolm X to the sister that sat on the bus there.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, Stokely Carmichael, Rap Brown. He has everybody. Now, I told him, when I saw him, I said, you need a King Emmanuel and your thing. No, that's what I told him. And he took a step back. Now remember, I know him well enough, so he has a very jovial way of behaving. He's a man that's full of love, no mind all that. He stepped back and said, hold on. And he started to look. He had on one of Prince Emmanuel, but I didn't know. He had on so many that I wasn't aware. But knowing how cross them elders were against King Emmanuel, I would never believe that he would have had on about King Emmanuel. And when he found it, he said, look, this is his words. He said, look, my daddy here. That's exactly what he said. Now, what I'm saying to you, brethren, no disrespect even to them, you know, but a lot of what they know about Prince Emmanuel come from me.
Okay.
Because they themselves is the same Bonagees they grew up on there.
Okay.
So you yourself hear Bonagees talk, you don't expect to get too much different. Them is Bonagees children. You understand? And I know many Bonagees children that don't talk exactly like Bonagees. Prince Emmanuel get a lot of respect amongst the elders, but you see, it's a little hidden history. Now, the thing is, again, there's a lot of, we lack a lot of, there's a lot of ignorance, I believe, and we tend not to want to put that away. You know, one may have a strong belief, but me personally, I think for the common betterment of us as a people, even the discussion of what you believe and don't believe, we know that we are Rastafari. To me, that's good enough. Even what you eat is not even a discussion right now. We are supposed to be able to kind of work together. I'm not telling a person to put away what they believe. You were at the African Liberation Day, as you said. You heard my speech I gave. And my speech was clearly, take the example of the Organization of African Unity. Everybody, they had a different flag, but they were under one roof. Everybody, they had different languages, but they were under one roof. They had a different concept of God, but they all came under one roof. And one of the reasons why they could come together, because they were independent. And I use the independent vibes to show we are supposed to be independent in mind. We are the conscious one. So only if we are still colonialized, we will still be divided. And if we're still divided, to me, it means we are somewhat still colonialized. We're supposed to be independent within ourselves, different flag, whatever, but we know we're all Africans. We know we're all Rastafari. So that's how I look at it. I'll never tell a man to change their ways. As I said, I grew up around the Bingy. I respect it. I trust me, and I don't want an argument with no one, but I tell you though, I'll tell you straight up. See, like my elder that I spoke of a moment ago, you know why I love him so much? Because he's true to his belief. A lot of other ones, they may not see it like you, but they just keep it quiet. But he's very cross with it. He believed that Rastafari is one concept, and anything else, he's playing around with it and don't mix it up. And I respect that idea that he has. But even he know, when it comes to point by point, if we have to sit down to debate this, there ain't no human being that can stand in front of me, my lord. Nobody, I'm telling you. I'm not afraid to say so. Not because it's me, but I'm positive I have the truth. Now, with such a zeal and commitment, and still balancing it off to tell you that we should not make that get in the way when it's time to do the work. Well, I mean, you can't get a better package than that.
Yes, sir.
Rastafari.
Yes, sir. Bless. In fact, me and Rasta, certainly, we reasoned a lot. Like when I was down there, we talked for maybe, on average, probably at least 3 hours at a time. Every time we met, there was like 3 times a week or whatever. We would talk a lot about a whole wide range of stuff. But when I saw that video, it was the first time I saw it online, just the video by itself. It's about, I think, 24 minutes long. So I immediately text him the video to get his feedback. So he called the eye, and we talked a little bit on the train. Then he called again, and we talked about an hour when I got home the next day about the whole video. And he said, yes, like the houses like refuse to unite based off that. And personally, like of course, being a Garveyite, myself, of course, the first house that I investigated was the Shanti house, of course, because they had Garvey as a god. So that was the first one that I read into, and then I first started, had a real zeal for it. But of course, I told you that certain things, that they believed in, I wasn't with, like the whole 2 week, not seeing your woman, and just certain things about like, because there was a priest that I was talking to.
3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah, my bad.
3 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, yeah. And there was a priest I was talking to on the hill. I don't know if you know him. His name was Priest Gord Brown. I don't know if you know who that is.
Actually, no, that name sound that name miss me. But it's all right, go through.
Yeah, and he was just, filling me in on some of the like the beliefs and some of the strict adherence to, the Bible and believing that King Emmanuel's Christ. So just me personally, no disrespects.
No,
I
man,
couldn't do that because of, Christianity, but I do have a deep respect for him, and I do admire him. Like I said on the video, I had a comment, like Ross Bone and G's King Emmanuel. Like I would love to sit down with them both and reason and see what, just pick their brains on what they believe in, their philosophy, because I see value in it. So that's why when I came in, I don't have a problem with a Bobo with, being inside the Bingy house with a head wrap on or nothing, because like as a Garveyite, he's my brother first. And then, like you say, he's Rasta, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't have a problem with that personally. But he said, he did tell me that, a lot of them don't unite because of that belief system and because of the flag having the red on top and bottom. And I couldn't believe that because y'all are powerful movements. We are powerful movements. So if we come together, I mean, wow, so yeah, that was my concern, because I see a lot of potential, that could come, I mean, just from political power to economic power, spiritual power, all of that. And, the fact that not you, but a lot of ones, won't do it because, well, you have the red, gold, and green. We have the green, gold, and red. And I'm like, come on, brothers and sisters, And then being a Garveyite, even worse, I'm like, we should be like, we're Black first anyway, it's all that to this, so yeah, that was just my input on that,
And I again, I would say I don't want to be an apologist for even Rastafari, but just being there and doing it, as I said, being there, done that, I still see I see a level of, it's not that much, but there's a level of maturity towards it,
Okay.
Trust me, there is. Trust me, there is. Even like just this morning I was watching the video, a video with up at Bobo Shanty Hill. And the same things you speak of, the red down, and so people coming in with red down, people coming in with caps. It was like a celebration though. But you see, my brother, maturity is not just with age. You see, as a Rastafari, trust me, even once you're serious with what you're into, you will mature too,
Okay.
If you notice, for example, you said something there about the woman and 2 weeks. And if you notice, I jump in quick. I said, it's 3 weeks. No,
3.
no. You see, you don't really spend that much time around here, but as you even asked me a few things today, and I said, well, I can't always answer from a quote unquote Bobo Shanti perspective. A lot of things I answer is from my perspective, and I think it's a universal perspective, but for now, it's just a theory. A lot of my perspectives are theories, meaning that everybody don't agree. So it's just what I think. That's really how I look at it. Like we were talking about the Orishas, because Rastafari encompass everything, all the, all a person might tell you, well, they like Rastafari, but they're checking for Buddhism. I remember Rastafari was asking you that if you watch the video I did with the Buddha and Rastafari and the Buddha, you should check that video there.
Yes, sir.
Rasta is highly Selassie connected to the Buddha.
Okay.
Even before you watch the crucifixion of Prince Emmanuel, although that was done for you, you should watch is highly Selassie connected to the Buddha. And I'm just showing you that this whole thing is vaster, is vast, I should say, much wider than some of the little things that ones does be arguing about. It's we did when the rainbow is bright, you see 2 rainbows in the heavens. You see the red up rainbow, and you see a red down rainbow. That's just natural. And there is a specific type of arc that is made in the heavens that is like an upside down rainbow. It's not our rainbow, but it's more universal thing. So I'm just showing you, my Lord, when you go through nature, some of the things people fight over 5-point star and 6-point star to it. Which one is the right star? As I hear this talk now, what mean which one is the right one? One have to be right and one have to be wrong. That is what you call religion.
Okay,
you understand?
Yeah.
So it's deep, and most of us somehow we just not grasping the fact that Rastafari is a universal thing. It's deep. You know what I mean? It's deep. It's the deepest thing, and it's the highest thing. It's the largest thing, and it's the smallest thing. So we could do a lecture on the atom, and when we're done, it's highly Selassie, we say. We can do a lecture on the black hole, and we're done, it's highly Selassie, we say. So it's very deep, and that when you get the depths of it, my lord, that's what the mystic vibration is all about. That's why it's deep things we talk about, to show that we hardly have time for petty things. Yes, even the petty things, we take it and bring it deep, because the things that you're talking about, I mean, them level, not your discussion, the things you are discussing about what we're talking about, them things is petty levels. But look how we're taking it and breaking it down now to a deep level. There's a specific type of ark. I can't remember its name, not the ark like the Ark of the Covenant. It's an ark that is created. It's not a rainbow, but it's created from electromagnetic energy friction in the heavens, and it creates a blast like a rainbow, the same spectrum, and it's the colors of the flag with the red down. I'm just showing you that these things are seen in nature, but I'm telling you, my lord, we have to carry this thing on a higher level. But let me ask, so the white people aspect now. Caucasians can be members of the United Universal Negro Improvement Association?
Absolutely not. You have to have at least one black parent to be in the UNIA. That's in our Constitution. That's what Mr. Garvey set in place early on. Like, you have to have at least, so if you're mixed, you can join. Like my wife, she's mixed, but she can still join according to our Constitution. So you can, like one black parent to join, but all black people can join. But if you don't have a black spouse, then you can't be a leader in any capacity at all, because we're not for that. We're for black unity, black family structure, black empowerment, period. So yeah.
Okay. So if you have if you're a black man and you have a white wife, you can join, but you can't be no leadership position.
Can't be a leader at all. At your division, or the parent body or anything,
Okay. And you find that Rastafari haven't taken that example?
I think that they compromised, and I think they had a good intention, but we have to understand that we as a race are in a very peculiar condition, that we've been through something for thousands of years that no race has, and that we're in a position right now that no race is in. So we have to have our own things and empower ourselves. Mr. Garvey says it's not about hate, it's about loving yourself, putting your race first. Like we said, you want to race first, and that's the most important thing to you, not trying to integrate, because like I said, Jews have their own movements where they look out for themselves and they're completely unapologetic about it, like same with the Chinese, same with the Arabs. Like they gate off their movements from us. Like we can't go in there. Like we cannot go in their safe places and their cultural meetings or holidays. We can't go in there. But it seems like with black people, and not just Rastafari, but just black people as a whole, we let all people into our safe places. And not only that, they come in and become leaders and have a platform in our places. And I'm not with that, because we can't go into no Jewish synagogue and do that, or no Arab mosque and do that. So that's also a concern that I have coming in, because like I said, I was mentored by Garvey who are Rastas. So they have a very pro-black, like Howellite outlook on things, so that's what I have. Ones and ones have that, and ones don't have that. So yeah, because Rastafari was meant to remedy our issues: slave trade, colonization, being spiritually broken. That was meant to remedy the black man's issues and the black woman's issues. You know what I'm saying? Not nobody else's issues. So that's just my personal view on it. You know, whether it's Bobo, Shanti, Naya, Bingi, whatever, that's for our upliftment. You know, other races have their own thing for upliftment. That's ours.
But what about when you see it? Because I know when you mentioned it first, you did say that, and this is a bit off of a couple of degrees off of the axis of Marcus Messiah Garvey. You did say, well, listen, if they want to join, maybe they can join. And you said it with some hesitancy still, you know, like, well, if they want to join, maybe they can join, but they can't be in no leadership position. So you're saying that you think that because a lot of ones, you speak of Rastafari being a liberation movement and a Black liberation movement as well.
Yes, my Lord.
Okay.
Yes, my Lord.
No, that is true. But a lot of ones not only see Rastafari, I think a lot of ones have Rastafari as a religion, that's for sure. Whether it is or not, you can't. I know some religious Rasta, straight up. Let me just leave it at that. But at the same time, with all due respect, Rastafari is a theology. It has a central spiritual, you know, because I know we wrestle with religion and spirituality, right? And sometimes we have to understand how to see through semantics. Sometimes. Yes, there is a difference between religion and spirituality, but with the way religion is defined, you know, as rituals and rites, almost any spiritual practice, even yoga, even deep breathing, because it's a ritual, it's something you have to do. You light 2 candles and some sage. People tell you you're gone into a religion there. That's why they call it Yoruba. Some people will profanely say they're Yoruba religion, and you know, these different things. Now, organized religion, which is really religion. When I say religion, it's organized religion. I'm really speaking of, you know, to me that is a different realms altogether. But as Rastafari, it is a concept of spiritual existence that connects a human being more to the divine. To the point that ones would choose it because, not because you are dogmatic, but because you believe that this is the most sufficient or the precise source to connect the human spirit to the divine in the perfect way. I am saying, if a Caucasian, a Chinese man, or Indian man figure that out too, is it wrong for them to say, hey, I want some of that? Because my thing is not the full thing. I want the truth. Do you see that is, you know, now I tried my best not to describe it as a religion, but they see it as something that will save their soul. They don't think Christianity gonna save the soul. They don't think Islam gonna save the soul. They believe Rastafari gonna save the soul. Is it right to say, hey, look, this is a Black liberation struggle. You can't deal with your people right now. Maybe your grandchildren might get in. Just give us some time.
I mean, I wouldn't turn nobody away. Like if I go to a Bingy, you know, or I go to a Bobo Hill, I'm not gonna walk up to somebody and say, hey, you gotta leave, you know what I'm saying? But I think that they should respect that, you know, that the center of that is African liberation, like globally. And if they can't help us achieve that, then, you know, why are you here? Because I wouldn't join the East Indian movement and then try to make it my own thing, you know, try to make it something it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yes, it is spiritual, but we have to, like I said, how I came into it was a bit different because, you know, it was, you know, this is for us, it's gonna save us, cool, you know, but I mean, it's being for humanity and saving people and letting them in is good, but the problem with that is that they don't work that way with us. Because being a Black American from the South, my Lord, I can tell you, they collectively don't like us. I mean, you find a few good ones, like you said, you can't, I find no John Brown over there. You can't find him. You know, like they is a race throughout both. I mean, the Arabs are our first slave masters. You know what I'm saying? Like both these peoples, the Chinese, Europeans, like for thousands of years. Even read the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, they've been oppressing us for thousands of years. And they still get the gains from that. And the good ones aren't trying to help us get some of them gains back. You know, they aren't doing that. So, I mean, you know, so.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I totally, I mean, I fully, it's definitely something that is way off the chain. You ain't gonna get an argument from me, man. It's something that is structured. When you become conscious, being in consciousness, if you want to say, as long as I have been, again, you visit many different thought waves, and I'm a researcher. So whether I want to believe something or not, I've seen all the different angles. I've read books that say white people come from Mars, and the author have all kind of evidence that if your head not good, you would say, wow, this man have the thing. And as I said, what I've noticed, I'm not a person that runs off behind every little thing I hear. And as you could say, as a mature, conscious man, I come to see where it has benefited me. I take my time to study things. I've read scientific journals saying that white people come from the rhesus monkey. You understand? And I've stuck with the theory that other races are filtration, and I will use the word mutation of the original man. That's the theory I've stuck with. I repeat it every now and again just so the audience understand where I stay. Because now there are those that will tell you white people are not human beings. That's a very serious concern. Because if they're not, then I could understand all of what, well, I wouldn't say what you're saying, because you're not even coming down harsh. You know what I mean? Harsh is, they're not to come around. That's hard. We don't need, no, I don't care what they say. The hailing Selassie, hailing Marcus, they could have hailed my grandmother. We don't want them here. They can't pass the gate. We don't bind from them. That kind of real lockdown mentality. I would preserve that mentality if you can prove to me that Caucasians are not human beings. But as I said, I've come through all of that too, and I've read essays on it, articles, because I've done my studies. I'm sure you talk about Malcolm X. I'm sure you come across the Jacob theory. You hear all kind of different things. Then you have the Esau and Jacob. Esau is the white man, and Jacob. So hey, I list about 7 things already, and there are more. To say where white people and other people come from. And to be honest, I use my scientific understanding honestly to see how I would deal with the other nations of the world. It's for real. Then there's this thing about white people not having souls because their pineal gland is calcified, and the pineal gland is the seat of the soul. I mean, the thing gets deep and deep and deep. So what is the real reason? Because most people that have some sort of judgment and whatever. And then now, outside of all that, there are those that will tell you, well, listen, man, the things that these people do us in slavery, all the calcified stuff I just talk about, and Mars and rhesus monkey and Neanderthal or whatever, that's not what some people, their point is, listen, the atrocities that these wolves put on us, how they rob us and rape us and drag us over here and hang us and lynch us and Jim Crow us, and up to now, you don't see Tulsa just pass, and how they have the Congo up to, I must trust these people here, and that's their reason. And to me, all them reasoning is good reasoning. So as a black man personally, I've spoken about it. Everybody know where I think for sure. I within Rastafari, as a nation and as a concept, I think we are extremely loose when it comes to other nations, specifically the European nation. And as if we are afraid that somebody that's a European gonna say something like, well, no. Because you can't tell me, That's what I say, even if you come, the fact that you come into these realms of Rastafari, you're supposed to have an idea of the ranks that you have. Everything is ranks. Bobo Shanti, it's gonna come harsh to some people, but like a Bobo Shanti woman now. I don't know if you heard the video I was doing about the Bobo Shanti woman in the Trinity, and I was talking about the concept of priestess. Look at, you're talking about your wife do Yoruba, and well, he didn't say it here. I hope I didn't say the wrong thing. Sorry if I brought it up. But anyway, I know your wife.
Yeah, she does Yoruba.
Right. So Yoruba have priestess. Now, Rastafari don't have priestess in general, not just Baba Shanti. Rastafari, there's no Nyabingi priestess, although the original Nyabingi was a woman, but there's
Yes,
no
sir.
Nyabingi priestess. Okay, good. Now, as I said, I've covered all that and I'm going into the depths of the term priestess and everything. But yet still you have Chinese priests. And you have many Caucasian priests within the Bobo Shanti order. Now, what I'm saying is that we never sit down and we just haphazardly just do these things. Never sit down and examine this thing properly before we move on with, as you say, putting these illustrious titles and these things on people of other nations. And if the people of the other nations were real, that's it too, you know. It's not just us, it's them too. They themselves supposed to stand up and say, well, look, my Lord, I bow down and come into the house of the black God, my Lord. I am ready to lick the dust off of your shoes, my Lord. And it might sound harsh to some people, but in my book, if you're not ready to say that, you're not ready to come into this. I'm serious. Now, I may not necessarily make you lick the dust off my shoes, personally. But you're supposed to have that mentality. If you coming into the house of the black God and you not black, you are of a next nation, and for whatever reason you believe that your nation have the wrong and your nation is the oppressor, and you know you have benefited from your nation oppressing this black nation, what? And I want to get a touch of this salvation that the black nation have. I'm not supposed to come in with my chest up and say, yes, Bubba, you go sit down there, my Lord. How you could tell me so? Who is you? No, man, King, as I say, I don't want to get too excited about it, but a lot of things in the Bubba Shanti order, I'm not with. And that's why me and a lot of people don't get along. You check it. I don't perform ceremonies with Caucasian priests. And people upset with me for that. I don't do it. I'll walk in and walk out. I don't have to do it, man. I can do something else. I refuse because I don't think it's correct in the realms of nature. That is just my opinion. Yeah. But I don't want to go into the depths of all I'm talking there. That's just a next level altogether. But I see where you're coming from, and it's something that needs balance.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of bringing Garveyism back into it, because Garvey was not. In fact, I'd say the most influential book I read by Mr. Garvey, because I read a lot about Mr. Garvey. I will admit that I do hero worship him. Like, it's something about him that I'm just mesmerized by, and that just fires me up. And I study him more than any black leader or just any man, period. And the last book that I completed by him was called A Course in African Philosophy, right? And that was written about 2 or 3 years prior to his death. And that was like a month-long course where he took a future UNIA leaders, and it was like an intense course for 12 hours a day. He would be giving lectures on what to do, how to lead, and everything.
Not to cut you, but speaking of death, in a few, speaking of death, as you said, just in the next day, as such, is the 10th of June. That is the day that they said that he passed on. Well, go ahead. But maybe say when Marcus Garvey dies, Marcus Garvey lives there. But anyway, you go. You say your stuff.
And he had a thing. That priest, that book is full of fire. That's my favorite book by him, because that's when he was older and all the experiences, and he had matured 100%. He was just saying, the do's and don'ts, what to look out for, what to expect, even from black people, And he had several sessions saying that you should never be in an organization with other races and races that lead, because they will never look out for you.
Of course not. That's the problem.
They will never look out for your well-being, So, and that's true, because, you can see now, like there are black movements in the USA who, once they start getting funds from white Democrats, their whole mentality changes. They don't want to say those harsh truths anymore, because it's about the money. And that's true with Rasta too. And we become afraid to say, hey, this is a Pan-African spiritual movement to save us. We let them in and they kind of do their own thing with it without, acknowledging, my race collectively hurt yours, like, for hundreds of years, and some races thousands of years. And they aren't going on our behalf and trying to get the reparations back or better our conditions. So, why are you here then, is my question. You know, if you're not here to help us, if you're coming into a movement founded by Black people for Black people, why aren't you not trying to like help us? You know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, I kind of step back from that, you know, because, you know.
It's so clear, my brother. It's a very serious topic. You know, it's a subject area that a lot of us, we look over and sweep on there. The concerns that you have, other people have it, but they're afraid to talk about it. And there's still that fear of white people. There's this fear, and a lot of white people come, a lot of conscious white people, because I know a lot of conscious white people that come into this zone with this mentality that, well, it's time for us to stop the division talk. Who is you to tell me that? You don't even have the right to tell me that. I'm the one that will bring, as you call it, the division talk to come to an end. You ain't got nothing to do with that. You're the divider. What are you talking about? So what I'm saying, the importance of what we are saying, and one may think we're prolonging it, but if you don't speak about it, it's going to be a sore that will rot away. Listen, I know how much Black people that, because somebody will say, well, listen, I mean, they have Negroes that you can't trust. Okay, like one of my things, I don't know if you've ever been into an official Boba Shanti service as such, but we have what we call the Royal Guard. The Royal Guard stay at the East Gate, and the Royal Guard rides the red, black, and green banner. That's the first banner that rides the red, black, and green. That's the Royal Guard. All right. One of my philosophies that a Caucasian should not be the Royal Guard. I'm not saying it can't come in, and my thing is different, you know, but I'm just saying this is a war happening here. This is war now. This when we rise service, right? Is war we gone now. We going to fight the liberation of the Black nation then in a service. That's what we chant. Okay. I think our Royal Guard should be one of us.
Exactly.
You know, as symbolic as the service may be, you know, maybe nobody gonna attack us tonight, but we are always supposed to be on watch all the time, and there should be, because this is something very serious to me. I'm a service angel. I love service. You know what I mean? Although I haven't even held a banner for years now, but when I hold banner, I'm very serious about it. I'm a real Royal Guard. I don't play around. I see man holding, I hope I don't carry too far with discussion, but when you see a man holding his flag, his banner, he shouldn't be dancing, no matter how sweet the bingy get. I see man dancing and kicking up. They're the Royal Guard. They protecting the service. Sometimes a person come right under them, because when the Royal Guard is supposed to check you, make sure you're all right before you come in the service, and you say a prayer under the red, black, and green banner and come in. Sometimes the Royal Guard dancing so much, the service hot, and he turban falling off and thing, and a little princess in front of him. My lord, can I go in? And he don't even hear her. My lord, oh, young princess, I didn't see you. Now what I'm saying, you're the Royal Guard. You know, and this is not Black people, white people. This is just in general. You're supposed to be vigilant. Nothing's supposed to move and you don't see it. Even these levels of training we kind of missing, you know. But I'm saying all of that just to show you and the audience how sacred I see these positions. I'm not gonna give a Caucasian, a European, to hold the ceremonial Royal Guard, and he can't be upset with me. Even if he just said, my lord, I should be able to hold it. I said, hey, how dare you? That's how I look at it. Because it's realms. I remember, as they say, you know, the white world have their realms too. That you don't even dare enter. Now, they may say, well, I don't agree with the Ku Klux Klan realms. I agree with your realms. Okay, well, give thanks for that. But you got to come into my realms now. I mean, you lucky you coming in.
Yeah.
You with all humility. And in my world, the moment you try to show like, well, we're all the same, nah man, that's where you get crossed out to me. And I think I'm being very lenient. Yeah. So I'm just showing you my ideas, how I look at it. And you know, that's why sometimes you can't just judge the group. Sometimes you see, the thing is, there is Haile Selassie, and there's Rastafari the man, and there's Rastafari the movement. And the movement is not always perfect, but the works of the man is perfect. And it's not all time you can judge the movement by the man, even though it's the man's movement. You know, especially since the man not around as such, if you want to put it that way. And I said the same thing as Bobo Shanti, you know. I'm gonna bring it up. I don't eat fish. I don't know if they eat animals, but I don't eat no kind of animals. Traditionally now Bingi don't eat fish, you know, but I know some Bingi man eat fish. But I didn't want to get into that. But traditionally, Bingi man eat fish. But traditionally, Bobo Shanti do eat fish. Traditionally. I'm one of them Bobo Shanti. Not only I don't eat fish, I don't even think no fish supposed to be around, no dead animals supposed to be around the sanctuary, the sanctum, or even the holy place. That's me. I'm a revolutionary kind of thinker. That's why you see one step back. You know, even that thing you're talking about, the 21-day purification, I'm going to do a subject on that. And a lot of people are going to be happy because I've been asking, this is behind the scenes stuff. I've been begging ones that should be able to give an answer to come and sit with me like how you sit in. And let's talk about that 21-day purification. There's some things that need to be expressed. We afraid. Yeah, that's to be expressed. 21 days, they say you can't see a woman in. How that sound to you? 21 days. Yeah.
It's a long time.
Now you see, like I said that, there are those that are saying, priest, you can't talk about that on the air, man. That is not for nobody business. I mean, what is hidden in this time? Yeah. And then now, there are those, I'm gonna make it talk now, there are those that would even approach me and say, but just like how, well, you didn't approach me that way, but just how you would point out a few things that we're touching now, and you would say, well, because of these things here, I kind of put Bobo Shanti to the side. I respect some other things, but them little things there, okay. But as you could see, even I have my little discrepancies with a lot of them other things. But you see the discussion, as I told you about the crucifixion stuff, a lot of these discussions is not for 10 minutes, not for an hour. And sometimes it's not even for a discussion, because a lot of them things I can break them down layer by layer. And sometimes it's just break down layer by layer they need, you know, even that 21-day purification thing. Because nobody practice that now.
They don't at all?
Who you know as Bobo Shanti?
I thought they
I know they have a few people kicking up and say, yeah, man, up on the hill, and I'm not talking on no hill now, I'm talking universally. They have more Bobo Shanti all around the world than who up on any hill. Not hill I talking, and even on the hill. And let's be clear, a lot of the empresses is elder empresses that don't even go through them things there. So who you know in this earth right now that do that to the perfection, not one time, but for years non-stop, they keep that up.
Nobody.
And if I explain that in depth, and I'm not saying that idea maybe, but trust me, ain't nothing to talk about. But yet still, if you say, well, we should look at that again, who they start fire burn you and they're not doing it.
Yeah, I know what doing.
But you see, it's something I'm going to touch upon because it's deeper than this. And just me touching it upon here, touching upon it here, and ones who take it out of context and already gone wrong with it. And I don't like things to be taken out of context that are serious discussion. Because, my Lord, as much as one may look at it a kind of way, right? The 21-day purification is a very holy thing. It's not every woman is a high heel wearing independent so-called woman, you know. They have women that give their life to Christ. You know what a nun is? A nun, right? And they have nuns and monks. They have enough monks in Ethiopia that just sitting. Them man don't even have woman. And they're there, some of them since they're little boys. Big old man now, I don't know how they do, but they're just there as monks. Some of them eat once a day, forever and ever. And that's what they choose to do. And I have to give them a certain level of respect for that dedication to what they believe. Because their spirit keep up a lot of energy in the earth that we don't know about, you know. Believe me, you see, like you go bingy this Sunday, you bingy for those who weren't at bingy, you know. They may not even appreciate it. They may be fishing and whatever, but you chant and praise and connect with the elements for those who are not there. And it happens all the time. The man that read the Psalms every morning at the camp and beat the drum for those of us who are on the road delivering water or whatever we're doing. The man that licked the drum and said the prayers at the headquarters did it for all of us. So you see the man, them, the monks and so all over the world, Buddhist monks and so on, the humming and the chanting, is not just for them, you know. It helps those who don't even find the time to do that. No, I'm saying that to say that just as they have brethren that are monks, they have women that are monks too, you know. They call them nuns. They have women that live in monastery. Women that don't really have no man neither, just like a monk, they have no woman. They have women that don't have no man. Now, I'm not stressing the monk liberty nor the nun liberty. I want to be clear. But they are sacred liberties. And I'm gonna make it talk right now, but just showing you. But for example, as Bobo Shanti, ones don't really notice this, you know, but when you take up like the Lent period and the 2 weeks before the Lent and the 2 weeks after the Lent, even if you're a married man, it's almost like you went through a monk period for a time. You know, it's necessary to take your structure to a kind of holy time. Now, I'm just saying that they have women that are made for that. Trust me, they have women, my Lord, that have no problem separating themselves unto the Father for months if they have to, and just pray and chant and do whatever they have to do. But I will say, you know, that what King Emmanuel set down, my Lord, is an example for us to grow with. And I will tell you, my Lord, even them same elder empresses I'm talking about, they were not always elders. They were young. And I've never come across a Bobo Shanti empress from them times that had anything bad to say about the 21 day purification. And you know why? Remember, you know, this is not Babylon world, you know. Remember, they are already living in a community where unless they want to, they don't necessarily have to sweat and stress to eat and drink and to sleep. All of them empresses have their own house. That's a very interesting thing. All of these empresses would have their own house. And when they gather together for that period, and the period is separated into periods too, the 7, the 17, the 21. And before I make a next quick point, that's the time they would come together as women and do a lot of works and prepare a lot of different things, and so many things would come out of that, books and we call it mat works and crochet and all sorts of different things. And it wasn't King Emmanuel that pushed that. It's woman that go to King Emmanuel. I had Empress Lily Mae Duncan on my program. I don't know if you listen to like the interview I did. It's woman that go to King Emmanuel and say, you know, it's 7 days was, which is reasonable. Because when a woman going through a cycle, it's not she unclean business. You know, the woman really by nature should be resting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, any sensible woman that understand that would say for real. But the way that the system is structured and you have to go work and this and that, and if you stay home 2 days, you have to get doctor paper. When the woman sometimes releasing blood for all 4 days, you know, and the 3 days she breathe off, trust me, every day is not a woman. If you talk 21, you start scratch your head. But there's not a woman, my Lord, that would not love that during her menstrual, the actual menstrual there, that she get a time off where she is fed, where you do everything for her, except the only thing she do is maybe wash her skin and go back and lie down. And you make sure she have everything she need, every little thing she want to sip, this juice, that fruit, that whatever she want to read and watch, whatever, you make sure she have it. Which woman gonna deny that? Well, if you don't like that, something wrong. But then now this extended thing now is a different vibes, man. That's for a holy woman, man. That's for somebody that want to be a nun. That's for somebody that really into the Christ thing. And but again, before you come in, I'm going to stress that it's not a monastery giveaway. Remember them time is enough woman on the hill, you know. So when it is all how much woman inside of this one area. And imagine if it's $1 million complex, it's almost like a city within the city of woman, doing woman business. You know, it's a different idea, you know, but we just think of it. Right. But anyway, go ahead, talk. I know I'm talking a lot.
No. Priest, I love learning from you. You know, like I said, I admire you and Rastafari CERN, to a high level. So I'm just listening, my brain like a sponge, you know. So yeah, going. But yeah, like I said, I first read about that, and because I read the first book, Black Christ Unveiled, and
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
read the second one. I started that one where they were getting into like, you know, the 21-day thing, and I was like, wow. And then it went into like what y'all don't eat, and you know the strictness of the scriptures, and you know the getting up early in the morning. Was it 5 or 6? Y'all got up for a roll call.
Well, roll call starts officially at the psalm really start at 5:30, but obviously you
5:30.
gotta be up
Okay.
before 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
so
right, right.
yeah,
Well, in
certain things
general, a
like.
man should wake up early doing it, whether it's roll call.
Mhm.
Solomon said it's a shame for the sun to rise before man.
Oh yeah, I understand that because, like I said, in the military,
All
by
right.
by 5, we were already up, like working out pretty much, you know. So yeah, I mean, running like miles and miles because we just, you know, have early days like that. So that part I never really have a problem with, but just, you know, yeah, I was like, wow, you know, and like she went into detail how they have their own area and they have to ring a bell to get things. I was like, wow, you know, and I didn't want to, like, you know, because I knew that I couldn't really hold on to that. So I didn't want to, you know, join an organization when I knew I couldn't like uphold the principles, you know, because you and I, hey, there are principles, me has their principles, right? If you can't uphold them, then you got to leave, you know. So yeah.
And you see the reason why I know it may sound like I came down a little harsh to some, even when I
Oh
said
no, you
nobody
good.
is practicing it. And as I said, maybe they are practicing. I mean, that's not something you just do in this, especially in this world. You just don't do that.
Mm, yeah.
It's not made for that. So that's why I know the man set an example for us to go and revisit and grow on. But what I'm saying is that to be clear, that that structure again, um, it's set down in a way where it's an ancient African concept.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's for sure. You could see that,
Hmm.
and I believe that it's highly misunderstood too, especially in this time. Okay, even how Bubble Hill set up and so, you know, is zinc fence and so we're dealing
Hmm.
with at the time. So even when one speak about it, they actually use that term, the woman then behind zinc fence. You understand? But you see, this is what we're missing to us as people, man. We are supposed to take this tradition, what Marcus Garvey built, what Prince Emmanuel built, and we're supposed to take it and advance it. Even
Yes,
in
my
the
lord.
scripture, Christ is the one that tell you that greater works than these shall ye
Hmm.
do. So I'm just saying now that an individual coming into this, and I that's why I'm glad I do what I do. I'm glad I'm on the front line to even meet people coming into this, like you. Let's put it that way. So an
Bless.
individual coming into this, even you know, even as Bobo Shanti, and coming across what you come across, and there's concern. We're living in a kingdom that needs to be restructured and rebuilt. It's obvious. It does. And again, it may sound a bit harsh when I say no one is keeping it and so and so and so, because it's something to look at properly. The kingdom have to rebuild. All them other little things we're talking about, they're not gonna matter unless the kingdom rebuild. And it can't happen without unity. You
Yes,
understand?
ma'am.
And there is Rastafari unity, you know, but the different Rastafari houses need to check their own unity too, because within them same houses there, even the red up people them still have problems with
Mhm.
one another. The red down people them still have problem with one another. The Sabbath keepers them still have problem
Mhm.
with one another. The 21 day people them still have problem with one another. So it's just a lot of immature things just jumping around, jumping around, jumping around. And there's no central core, there's no central source of understanding. Even the elders and them don't even get the respect that they should get as ones that should be, you know, counseling the younger ones. So
Mhm.
Rastafari in general, you know, is just like a thing around the globe that is a bit just, you know, if you're a Rasta, and even the society, the way they address Rasta, sometimes you could pick it up. Rasta is just like a little thing going on, you know what I mean? And you know, this is a Rasta man and that is a Rasta man, not knowing that Rastafari is supposed to be a government. within a government with Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Economics, and all these different standards. That is how I see it, my lord. That is what I am looking forward to. That is what I would like to see us really get together and build. Them is billion-dollar works we're talking about. That's why economy is, to me, one of the main things. You understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. But we not serious about that, King. We not ready for that. We joking that. We not ready. You can't tell me we ready for that, because I see it. We not even interested in the topic.
Right. Very right. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we need. That's what His Majesty's book. I don't know if you have it. You select the speeches of His Majesty. You're saying the same thing about having government, everything. Ministry of Education, Health, Agriculture, all that. But I don't know. But even just taking a step back from Rastafari, just Black people in general don't have the will right now to even do that, because we always say we want to get free from the white man, but like radio host I watch says, are we ready to make sure that the cell phone towers don't go down? Are we going to monitor stuff like that? Like just making sure that things that we use every day, like electricity, the water running, the pipes, like are we ready to take that on ourselves? And we're not. You know what I'm saying? Just basic stuff like that. So I mean, we'll get there one day. I hope we do. I believe Mr. Garvey, he said we would, but it's going to take time because, like you said, we don't care. We're not concerned about that right now. Everything else is more important than building for us and really building for us like an actual nation. And I personally, what Mr. Garvey said was the ultimate goal is to have Africa independent so they can look out for themselves and us in the diaspora. So if any goal's not working towards that one, I can't stand with it. Whether you're Rasta or Christian or whatever, we got to make sure that we as a race are taken care of. Like you said, many flags and many gods, but one people, so. But one last thing, I want to touch on one more thing before we get off. One's told I that, His Majesty, had that speech where he said, into the philosophy of, a man's skin. Was that given at the UN or at the League of Nations speech?
What's that now? That's the UN. That's 1963. Yeah, until the philosophy that holds. It's true. The Bob Marley song. I think I know that by heart, and sometimes I still get it wrong. But yeah, that was at the UN until the philosophy that hold one race superior and another inferior. Yeah, it's permanently, and I can't remember everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I think everybody knows it.
Yeah, I think we have to put it.
What do you think about that? What you're saying about it?
I mean, I think we have to put it in context because
you have it right under that. I was just going to say a speech that's well taken out of context, but I said let me make you talk first, and you go ahead.
Yeah, because if we think about it, His Majesty was a victim of white supremacy also. The Italians came and did that. That was part of going trying to colonize Africa. So he wasn't talking about this so-called reverse racism. He was talking about the white world attacking the Black world. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's what I got when I read that, because he was forced to flee Ethiopia, because of them, coming in, and he was aware too of what the Jamaicans are going through and Jim Crow in the United States. He was aware of them things. So, but a lot of the roster who are Caucasian take that and they try to twist that to in a way to go and justify them being here, but I mean, I see it just, in the right context,
Yeah, I think that's, well, surprising you said Rastas that are Caucasian, but I think Rasta in general is more Black people has tried to show that on me. That speech there, that the king sent to the color of my eyes and all of that, which again, that he was speaking against apartheid there, specifically. That's why he mentioned our brothers in Mozambique and South Africa and Botswana and Rhodesia, because that was exactly what was happening at the time. Because in 1963, remember, the king just done the Organization of African Unity a couple months before, and then he went and visited Kennedy and spoke at the UN, as you said. So that was a hot topic because the whole of Southern Africa was missing from that conference. And that was one of the main things on the emperor agenda. Even in the selected speeches, you hear the emperor mention apartheid South Africa a lot. It's something that he vehemently fought against. So that was the context, that's for sure. You know, it's sad that when you speak of these things, you have to always have this like apologetic tone to what you're saying. You know, like to just so that the people can at least don't rock the boat too much and this thing and this thing. When I mean, it's sad, it's sick to be honest. When you're just talking the truth, you're just expressing it how it is. And the emperor, for sure, is not a biased person, but the emperor has clear understanding of history. The emperor know that the oldest fossils of human beings is in Ethiopia. I mean, anybody with common sense would explain that to you, and the whole melanin aspect and everything. So this is just a real world. That thing about superior and inferior, that's not an absolute thing, you know, that's relative. That's relative. I think we're very kindergartenish with our thoughts. That's relative. There are things that a person is superior with.
Exactly, yeah.
And other people, but it's the context, as you said, it's the context that we're speaking of. And he was actually speaking to the people with the blue eyes, the different color eyes. It's them he was actually telling this to. Not everybody like he telling everybody, like, let me tell all of you this. We're all one. No, he was telling the white people, listen, man, until, you know, you stop judging people by the color of their skins and by the color of their eyes, you're going to always have trouble. There's always going to be war until our sisters and brothers in Mozambique and in Zimbabwe get free up. You're going to always have this problem here. It's them he was speaking to, you know. Yeah, man, but give thanks to that outlook and you see, before you go, you know, the reason why, and give thanks to the subject area you bring up, the reason why it is important again is because we as Black people, we're just resurrected now. We're just coming out of the dust like, as a phoenix. We know that we are the ones that save the whole world. That's our ability. We come to save the whole world. And we know we haven't put mechanism in place to safeguard this culture, this new culture that we are rising up. We haven't put mechanism in place, and we already see that it's been infiltrated to the point that it already started to get watered down. Milk is being added to the coffee, you know? Yeah, already. Yeah. So we got to work with it. Yes, my lord, I wouldn't hold you up no more.
Oh, no. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, you know.
Give thanks for. So you're in Germany, not Austria. I was in Austria all the time.
Oh no, it's all right. She's from there, and it's like close. Like it's probably about like an hour or two drive over the border. Yeah, I'm right in the same area though.
I get you. Well, blessings to you and the Empress.
Blessings to your family.
De la Ashe and all of that good stuff. And so you have any closing words you want to leave with the people? But you never gave them give the people your rendition of your little walk up Greencastle Hill. Just tell them what you thought.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. The part that set me the most is when I sat down on that throne that you sat in, and I felt different sitting there than when I left, you know, after sitting. But yeah, it was beautiful, you know, great monoliths, great scenery, great reasoning that we had up there, you know. Yeah, it was very nice. I was blessed to be up there, you know, with my two elders, you know. So yeah, it was great, you know. Absolutely. But yeah, I just want to tell the people, I mean, don't hate nobody, but have a sense of group self-interest and, you know, just group self-preservation, you know, and, you know, like, if y'all would fly a lot, I've been in the military where I was in, but I'm out now, but I flew a lot. And I still fly sometimes now, but when the stewardess comes, she always says when the mask comes down for low pressure, put the mask on yourself first. Save yourself first, then help out your neighbor. So that's, to me, it's the Black race symbolically. Yes, you know, there's poverty everywhere, but we have to save ourselves first before we save anybody else. And that's a Garveyite philosophy, and I'm a proud Garveyite. You know, I go back and do it again and rejoin all over again, you know, but yeah, just keep that first, you know. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I.
Yeah. Rastafari. I'll give thanks,
Blessed
my
be faithful.
brethren, and
Thank you.
I will guide you out. Well, give thanks again for the fullness, and I hope that we could do it again sometime. That's it.
Absolutely. Be safe, man.
That's it. All right, we'll give thanks for Brother Joseph X, also known as Jad Joseph. Give thanks, my good brother, for the meditation. Give thanks for the conversation. And yeah, a young one as such. Well, I don't know the brother's age, but he said that I'm his elder. So I guess I got into elder status now. So give thanks still. And the little reasoning and the discussion. You see, the thing is, even before I go into this, what he was saying there at the end with putting the mask on your face first and all of that. And you know, we have the ability to save everyone and so on. So you see, the thing is that we believe that we have already, you know, come true. We don't even have our mask on our faces yet. That's the point then. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I know we're wearing masks nowadays, not that kind of mask, the mask in the airplane, the oxygen mask that you put on your face. He was using the analogy that you put on your oxygen mask first. And then even your own child, you got to wait on you because you got to save yourself or else you cannot save somebody else. That's the point that he was making there. And it's the very same thing with us. But you see, the problem is that somehow we feel that we already have on the oxygen mask. Maybe the oxygen mask come down, but trust me, we have not fitted on our oxygen mask properly yet as a people, and that is for sure. You understand? Listen, we are a loving people, eh? And even through our love, we get in problems. We are a loving people. So don't make nobody try to stamp you with any level of hate. But you definitely, as the brethren say, have to, as Marcus Garvey say, it got to be race first, definitely. And for sure, because if the black man doesn't stand, nobody else gonna stand. I'm telling you, if the black man don't stand, nobody else will stand. Very, very important. And you gotta keep the culture African. And anybody that come from outside and vex that they can mix up your culture with them and their culture, well, I mean, they can't be upset if you tell them, well, no, my brother, you can't be in this culture then, because we don't do that in this culture. But anyway, speaking about our culture, we're talking about Rastafari Experience Antigua, inviting you to the summer solstice, which is June 21, the virtual experience. I should have asked the good brother if he's going to be with us virtually. But remember, this is the double hike we're talking about from from Thursday, the 17th of June until Sunday, the 20th of June. And Thursday, the 17th of June, that is the day we are doing the cannabis tour and lecture. And the Chalice talk specifically, yeah, that will be the 17th. Don't mind the little mishap here. That will be the 17th. And of course, we're talking at the 18th now, which is Friday morning. That is the morning hike. And it is the 20th of June, the Sunday sunset hike. Yes, 2 wonderful hikes, 3 exciting days. Virtual event talking about the summer solstice 2021. We will have the Antiguan historian. I'm talking about Paddy the Griot Simon, and he will be definitely giving us a lot of information as it relates to the area of Greencastle, the hill of Greencastle Hill, and even some information as it relates to the megaliths. This is something that you don't want to miss at all. I mean, you love information, you love vibration, you love knowledge, you love all of this good stuff. You definitely want to be in tune for the second hike. Well, the full package thereof. I mean, it's not buying one hike and leaving out the other hike and coming to the cannabis store. No, it is one thing, one whole event, 3 exciting days, 2 hikes, and the cannabis tour and lecture. And the whole package is only $100. Yeah, and of course, well, there was a special offer. if you were to get your package before the 7th of June. The 7th of June has gone too soon, and it would have been $85, but that has passed. But listen, man, $100 for 3 days of excitement, like 2.5 hours each day. I mean, like, wow. I mean, like, yo, yeah. Definitely $100 is more than worth it, my family. So definitely tune in, and we will be kicking that off. All right, wonderful. What a joy, what a joy. And remember, of course, remember, if you are a member of the Shock of the Hour, well, for sure, you will be getting your ticket for only $85 once you are a member of the Shock of the Hour. And of course, you can subscribe to the Shock of the Hour by contacting us, priestisaac27@gmail.com. That's priestisaac27@gmail.com, and get more information on how you become a member of the Shock of the Hour. All right, give thanks for your presence with us. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Give thanks to the good brother Joseph, Joseph, yes, and his wonderful family there in Germany, Austria, yeah, and the borders thereof. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Blessed Lord.